Welcome to Tibra's Den, everyone. My name is Whitney, and welcome back to another speed build. I'm so excited for today's build. Today we are creating the cozy little cabin for my grandma sim that we created on Monday. If you have not seen that video, please check it out. I'll leave it linked in the description below as well as at the end of this video. But just a recap in case you haven't seen it, we created Janine, who is our grandma sim, and she did recently lose her husband, within the last couple years, and her daughter is grown, her grandkids are entering young adulthood, and so she really doesn't have anybody to care for anymore. She really filled in the role of wife and mother. Like, she thrived there, she loved it, and so she was a homemaker, she was a caretaker, and now she doesn't have anybody to care for. And so she's really kind of rediscovering herself. And so her and her husband had like a main home they lived in, so he could work and make the money. But this was their dream home that I'm building right here. So after he passed away, she sold the main home and moved into the smaller cottage here. And this is where they would spend a lot of their weekends and any vacations, just to kind of get away. It wasn't just a vacation home. They were really a part of this community. And so other Sims in the neighborhoods, they know her. And I did put her in Brindleton Bay on the lot, the Hind Quarter Hideaway. I really liked that little lot. It was small and I thought it was perfect for what I was going for. And so yeah, that's my sim, and that's who we are building this for. I definitely thought it was important to have 2 rooms. I didn't want it too tiny. They would spend a lot of time here, so it definitely needed to have everything they wanted. And so it does have 2 rooms, one for them and one for their daughter, but it only has 1 bathroom. And then I did put a wraparound porch. I thought that was something, her and her husband would have really enjoyed. And so they sit, no matter what time of day, they could go sit out and enjoy each other's company. Even after their daughter was grown, they spent a lot of time here. And so after their daughter grew up, they converted the spare room into a place for their grandchildren. And then after they grew up, she went ahead and converted it into a knitting room. And so you will see that. And like I said, she does have a lot of traits that are typical of grandma. She's sweet, she is family oriented, she's very neat, she likes to keep things tidy, and then she also likes knitting and baking things. When I think grandma, that's what I think of. And but like I said, she is a woman at the heart of it, and now she's trying to kind of discover who she is as a woman outside of being a mother and a wife. So anyway, back to the cabin. I really enjoyed this. Like I said, it's not super tiny. I definitely could have gone a little bit smaller. I might have to do that challenge at some point just to kind of push myself, because I definitely notice I like to give my Sims a lot of room when I'm building. But like I said, I did do the wraparound porch, which I really enjoyed. I made sure to do like the dark wood aesthetic, and I did the thatch roof. I thought that was really nice. And this is maybe something even her husband built on his own. He obviously would have had to call in people to help him, like electricians and plumbers and such, but he probably had a hand in this. And so this is a place that's really, really important to her and has a lot of sentimental value to her. And so yeah, I'm working on the porch now. I struggled a little bit. I wanted darker wood for the stairs, but I couldn't find anything that really worked, and so this is what I ended up going with. And the railing too, the railing and the handrail, and then the fencing around the porch, I struggled to get to match to the coloring, which was really frustrating. You would think it would have matched a little bit better, but I did do this railing here, and it works well enough, I suppose. And then I tried to find wood floor that I thought kind of went okay with the stairs as well. You can definitely see a difference, which I think in real life there wouldn't be that change. It would kind of meld together. I kind of wish you could put the flooring on the stairs too, and that way you can match, but that's okay. I still like it, and it doesn't look too out of place. I don't keep the flooring inside. I didn't think it would be that matchy, so I switched to this darker flooring for a second, and then I ended up going with a lighter flooring that definitely looks a whole lot better. So I don't keep this flooring either. And now I'm just trying to figure out my layout a little bit. I knew this was going to be a living room and kitchen, and I knew I wanted a fireplace, so I was trying to figure out how to make it work. So I originally had two archways going in, and I was like, I don't need two archways going into the living room. And so I ended up deleting that front archway and just having the one to the side. And I debated on where to put the archway, but at the end of the day, I kind of wanted to be able to come straight from the bedrooms into the living room, and so that's why I deleted it from the front, so you don't walk just in from the front door into the living room. It's kind of separated a little bit. And I did go with this little fireplace. I like the wood, and I thought that was important, especially, I mean, not the wood, the brick. And I thought that was important for it being a wood cabin, that you had that brick to kind of help protect, and make sure it wasn't too much of a fire hazard. Even though it probably still is, I probably should have bricked around the fireplace as well. But you can see I went with a lot of the pink color aesthetic. And if you saw my create a sim on Monday, Grandma Janine definitely loves her pink colors, and so I know that's kind of a stereotypical grandma thing too. I remember when I was working at the one veterinary clinic, my boss, the veterinarian, she originally, when she had bought the place, so when I started working there, it was a different veterinarian that owned it, and then she bought it from him. But originally the walls were like, and she liked to, they were this pink color, and she always called them Grandma Pink, and she hated them, and so she ended up painting it, the clinic, a different color. But I just remember that, and I do think it's really common. You see like a certain pink, and it makes you think of grandmas, and I don't know why. I'm sure there's plenty of grandmas that don't like pink, but it's just one of those things that kind of make you think of that. But Janine's definitely really likes the pink and the feminine touches and things like that. And I definitely wanted to go for cozy vibes, so that's why I used that couch and those chairs, which is really nice. And so now we are working on her little kitchen, and I struggled a little bit with the layout and the windows, as I always do. I don't know why I have such a hard time with windows, but I do. So I went ahead and put in these smaller windows, and I don't even keep those over the sink and such. I actually go with just the little square windows instead of the rectangle ones that I put here. And I actually moved the sink and the fridge over by the back door, and the stove ends up going in that spot. So it does end up working. It's just at first I really struggled with how I wanted to lay out. And I was kind of going with the brown vibes, but then I was like, there's just too many browns in here. So I ended up changing the appliances to white, which I really like. And unfortunately, there wasn't really enough room for cabinets, but I was able to put in a couple of cabinet pieces. And then I do put in a buffet as well. So I'm able, she definitely has enough room for her dishes and any pantry items that she would need to keep. But the cabinets themselves are pretty small, but I really didn't want to sacrifice the windows, and I don't like windows or cabinets covering the windows either, so that's why I kept it the way it was. But I do think she would definitely like this little kitchen. It's not big, but it has everything she needs. So, and I do think she would be a tea drinker, so I had a little teapot and the little tea maker as well, and then the little summer drink tray. I see her as somebody who, if she has visitors, or whether it's her grandkids or daughter or just friends, she would definitely dote, and so she would make little drinks and have like a little plate of cookies or brownies or something to serve. And so I wanted to include that drink tray as well, just to add that component to the house, because I see her as somebody who would do that. And then I do add, like I said, the little buffet. I don't keep it that brown color, way too much brown in this build, so I do change it to white, just kind of lighten up the area a little bit. But I don't I don't know why I'm so obsessed with brown for this build. I was just thinking wood cabin, I guess, but I do, like I said, change that for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much the kitchen's basically done. I could have maybe put like a little rug in or something like that. And of course, I had to add the kitty cat stuff. That was super important. So I debated about putting the bed right there next to, between the couch and the little chair, but I decided, she probably would have sit over in the other corner, and so I put the bed over there. And then, of course, the food bowl, and I put several of these cat towers. I think I ended up doing 3 in total. So there's one in the front entryway there where the cat can sit and look out the window. That big one I actually move into the hallway by her litter box, and then I put a smaller one in the bedroom. And so the cat has plenty of places to sit and lay down. And then I also put another cat bed in the bedroom as well. I definitely, she would spoil her little kitty for sure. And I think I have the cat wand there as well. I was gonna say, pretty sure I had a cat wand somewhere as well. She was, spend time and play with her and brush her and just love on her kitty because that's who she has to care for nowadays. Dining room here is pretty basic. I did the little baked goods on the table, and then of course some pink plants. Still going with like the pink and white theme. And then I did for these pictures, I did just the different swatches that they had. I did all of those, and I know it's kind of redundant, but I think she would really enjoy those pictures, and kind of any time she could, she would collect an animal picture and kind of add to her little collection there. And then that piece right there, I actually put in my last build as well. I gave it to Megan, I'm pretty sure, the more serious kid twin. And so she has that picture in that build as well. And I kind of like the idea of putting an object from the last build into the new build and just kind of tying them all together that way. So let me know what you guys think about that, because I might definitely. I think I'm probably going to be doing that for sure, because I like it. It's kind of a nice touch, and it ties the builds together. And so I think I'm probably going to do that going forward. But now I'm working on the entryway and just finding more clutter items to put around. I had this custom content blanket, which I thought looked really nice and cozy, so I threw that over the chair. And then for the entryway there, well, of course, I'm still working a little bit on the cat area as well. But basically, right now, I'm just working on clutter in general. But the entryway, I don't do too much more. I think I put a couple plants by the door, and then I put like the little shoe thing right here. I put that over where the other ottoman was. And just like a little area where you can sit and get ready to go out the door. You have your jackets, you have your shoes, umbrellas if you need them. And so, yeah, you can just sit and take your time and get ready to go out the door, or when you come in, take off all your outdoor objects. I definitely see that. I probably should have put a rug there. There's several places that I needed to put a rug, because I didn't put one in the knitting room, which I needed to do, and the front entryway doesn't have one. So I definitely need to go back in and place a few rugs. And I think the outside could use a little bit of work as well. I kind of skimped on the landscaping, I would say. So, but sometimes it's, you're just not feeling it. So, and that's the nice thing about doing the save file. Like, I can get the bulk of the builds done, and I can always go back in and tweak later, which I like. So, a little laundry basket, and I think that I actually end up putting outside. I don't do that right now, but I do put that outside at some point, as a place where she keeps like dishes for when she's entertaining outside and such. And then of course the balls of yarn, I put some for the cat to play with, and then the rest I moved into her yarn room, her knitting room, which I really can't wait for you guys to see that. I really like it. And then just a pink little planter there, just kind of like I said, fill up the space. I was trying to do my best to not make it seem so empty, and when you've been using all these items over and over and over again. So with the bathroom, I did struggle a little bit. It needed to be a little bit bigger for what I was going for, and so I kept trying to extend it out into the hallway, and finally I was moved it and extended it into the bedroom, which I really like how that turned out because I wanted a bathtub. Um, if you've seen previous videos, I talked about this before, that I really like having a bathtub and a shower in my builds. Especially for gameplay, I think it's really important to have both. For your adult sims, it's faster to take a shower, but for your child sims, you kind of need a bath sometimes. And if you're playing your game and they need a nap or something, it's nice to have your little bathtub where they could nap and shower, because I've run into that several times in my gameplay where they're extremely exhausted, but they're also dirty and they need a bath. So they go in and they get their hygiene up while they're taking a nap, and that gives them enough energy to finish bathing, and then they can go to bed nice and clean. So a silly little thing, I know, but I've definitely found it to be helpful in my gameplay, especially when I was doing the 100 baby challenge as well. That was really nice to have that aspect where they can just go and crash in the bathtub. So a little bit silly. And then I ended up going with this black rimmed rug, and I put it in front of the sink and in front of the toilet. I thought maybe she got a little matching set that she really liked, and so she has it in multiple places, nice and cozy on the feet. But yeah, that bathroom, pretty simple. I do put the window back up. I know I took it out for a moment, but I do put that back up and then put a little curtain on it as well, which I like. So it's pretty simple. It's a bathroom. I know, not too exciting there, but I do like how it turned out, and it's a bathroom. That's all I got to say. But now I'm just going through and I like the one with the pattern, but it was too seasonal for me. So I ended up going with these plain yellow curtains, which I really like. I think the only place I don't have them are in the kitchen and on the front doorway there. But now we are on to Janine's bedroom, and again, a lot of pink and white in here. I absolutely think it's so cute and precious. And of course, she had to have a little area for her cat. And I've never used one of these stand-up clocks, but I thought it was nice for this build. I thought it went really well with it. So that's why I did that. And then, of course, she has her little knitting thing she might be sitting in bed and she might be doing that. Some candles, and then I do put a lamp on this side as well so she can see what she's doing at night when she's working on her knitting in bed. Like I said, I definitely think she would really enjoy knitting, and it's definitely a hobby she's kept up with for sure. And then just a little thing over the bed, of course, and her pink cat tower for Precious. And then I put a little bed there as well. And then I used these chairs because I like the patterns on them, and I think they're super cute. And just a little seating area in her room as well. Maybe when her husband was alive, they would sit there and have coffee together in the mornings, things like that. So pretty basic bedroom, but definitely cute. I struggled with the rug a little bit, and in the end I went with this white rug. I do shrink it down. It's a little too big for my taste, so I do shrink it down a little bit and then just move it over to under the bed so it doesn't take up as much space. It was just kind of awkward. If it had been more of a square shape, I think it would have worked just fine in the room that size, but as a rectangle it just kind of looked silly. It was too long for my taste. But pretty much done in this room. I just add in a little pet bed for Precious, and that's about it. So now we are on to our knitting room, which I'm so excited about. I've been wanting to do a knitting room for so long. I was so excited about the Nifty Knitting Pack, and I've hardly used it at all. I did use a lot of these items when I did my Seasons build, if any of you saw that one, and that's just because my vampire was winter, And so in my mind, winter you do crafts because it's cold, you can't be outside, so that's the time where you're inside doing a lot of crafts and things like that. So that's why I did it in my seasons build. I gave it for winter, but he didn't really have like a whole room dedicated to it, and being a vampire, it was kind of a little bit weird, but I did add it in that build. But this is like true grandma-esque stereotype right there. They like to knit or crochet and make little blankets and things like that. So I was really excited to be able to include that room, and I absolutely love it. And now we are just working on the outside a little bit. So of course I put in some rocking chairs. I put in this little grill. I don't know how much she grills, but I really like that they added that. I think it's so cute, and I've actually used it several times. Well, I think it just twice, but not quite several, a couple times anyway. And I'm probably gonna use it a lot more because I think it's cute. And so if you don't have a sim that's maybe a traditional griller, you can still add that to your game, and it fits. It's quirky and unique. And then for the front here, I didn't do too much landscaping, but I do put like a little rock garden, and I put the little bird feeders. So I figured, she would just have pretty simple flowers in there, and then the bird feeders, and so she could watch the birds fluttering about. And I added this little pond. I thought that was nice, and her husband, maybe built it for her, and she probably keeps like some koi fish or something like that, and goes and watches them. Just pretty basic. I put, like I said, little benches all the way around, and that way, no matter what time of day, she could go sit wherever she wanted to and enjoy the scenery. And I do end up putting 2 tables, which is probably a bit excessive, but I put this one with the umbrella down in the yard, and then I put a more like formal dining table up on the deck. And so if she's entertaining, she might entertain friends down in the umbrella one if they're just having some drinks or something like that. Where if she's maybe having a meal with her family and they want to eat outside, that would be where the dining room table would come into play. And then I like the idea of a little fire pit next to the little pond, and they can sit, and if the grandchildren are over, they could roast s'mores, things like that. So I don't know. I really liked that little touch. And like I said, I did add the little flower garden or rock garden up here, whatever you want to call it. Nothing too extravagant, just very basic. I could have done a lot more landscaping, and I didn't. But I also liked that it wasn't too overly cluttered outside either. And I might add like a little tree or something in the backyard. That's probably would really help the space a lot, because the backyard is pretty dismal looking, I would say. But I do like these little flowers up here, pretty simple and straightforward to care for. And then of course the little birdseed feeders. I don't know that she'll be able to get to them to film with birdseed or not, but it was more just the look I was going for overall anyway. And then this is where I end up using this little outdoor buffet thing, and this is a custom content piece as well, but I really liked it. And I think if in real life she was keeping dishes out here, she would definitely, have like a sheet or doors or something on the cabinets, but it's The Sims, so it really doesn't matter. And it's more for decoration, so she has some plates and bowls and things that she would need outside if she was hosting, or she would bring those things out when she was getting ready to host. They wouldn't just sit out here and collect dirt for sure. But it's The Sims, so it really doesn't matter, and that's what I went with. But I think it's really cute, and I think it really adds to the little space. And like you said, she's lonely, so she definitely would try to do a lot of entertaining with her friends and such. I can see that for sure. But that's the build. I'm going to leave you guys here to go through the walkthrough and enjoy the screenshots. I hope you really like this. Let me know what you think. And remember, if you haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell notification, and give this video a like. And yeah, have a good weekend, guys. Remember to check back in on Monday. We will be creating her daughter and her grandchildren. Bye, everyone.